Alright, I'm just gonna test for the sound. Right, I'm just gonna test for the sound. Okay, so we are all good. Now for this session, for this video, I am gonna highlight some of the higher time frame points of interest and what I am looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Nasdaq's monthly chart. Okay, this will be solely indices and DXY only. Okay, and maybe I might cover HSI, but let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm gonna mark out the higher time frame levels here. So if anybody's watching and if you have any questions, you can ask them. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna mark out S&P as well, and then we'll do the comparison and then the analysis. Okay, so let's start the analysis, right? So for Nasdaq right here, as you can see, we have low lows, but yes, we have higher lows. Okay, and at the same time, if you use the Fibs, this decline during 2022, it was declining into the 1 to 1.5 standard deviation range, and then you see this rally. Okay, price has closed above negative 2.5, and if theory stands true, we are going to reach for negative 4. All right, so right here we have a shift in market structure, and I do understand that if you use fundamentals, all right, nothing is bullish for stocks. Okay, but we do have to consider price action as well, right? So trading above this BPR here, it's very likely that um, it's gonna utilize this as support. Okay, so because we have the current events that are happening in the world right now, what I'm basically expecting is for price to move lower, inducing shorts. Okay, so everyone's gonna short the markets, and then they're gonna run it higher, taking out the previous highs. Okay, the old high. So what would invalidate this idea is, I think, if we start to trade below the true year opening, the true year opening price. Okay, so far, I think, as you can see right here, it's spending very little time down here below the true open. So naturally, I use this as an indication that price is bullish. Okay, so of course you can reverse it, and if price is bearish, you don't want it to be spending too much time above true year open. Make sense? So ultimately, I'm looking at this monthly CB, BC, which comes in line with this BPR right here, just slightly above the consequent encroachment. So what I'm anticipating for the month of October is that we attack the lows down here. Okay, and then price is going to reverse. That is what I am anticipating. But does it need to attack this level here? Personally, I don't think so. Okay, but we just have to wait and see if this plays out. Okay, because based on price action, as you can see, Nasdaq here, it's rejecting swing lows. Okay, so this is not something that I want to see if I'm bearish in price action, which means I want to see bearish order flow. I don't want to see, I mean, if I'm anticipating bearish order flow, I do not want to see lows getting rejected, right? So this is for Nasdaq, right? So jumping into S&P, similarly, using the projections itself, 2022 came right all the way into -2 and -2.5. So technically, S&P is way more bullish than Nasdaq on the higher time frames. Okay, so of course I am anticipating -4 to be tagged. Right, I'm using the continuous contract chart because it has more data for higher time frame analysis. Okay, so we have higher highs here, and then right here, this is a proportion order block which price rightfully respected the levels here. Okay, why is this proportion? Because it reaches into the last order block that took out a swing low, right? So you have low, high, lower low, took out, trading above the high that made the low. So the consecutive down close candles here on the monthly chart, this becomes your order block, and as you can see, bullish order block. So as you can see, price coming back up, coming back down into it, finding some support right at the opening price and rallies. And right now I am thinking that this is just a retracement of 2022, retracement into a propulsion order block, and it, right, as you can see, in the year 2023 it sends the price higher. Okay, actually started in the year of 2022, but 2023 you get the continuation higher, right, taking out this swing high here. So this BPR here, preferably I don't want to see any price closing below. Okay, and best case scenario, it's going to give an entry right at the opening price of this consecutive down close candles here, right? So this is the best case scenario. If it is going to manipulate it that way, so this, I would anticipate a strong reaction right here. But does it need to reach into that opening price? I don't think so, because we have this huge wick, right? So let's see if we measure the wick, the consequent encroachment of the wick here. Okay, so it comes in right around at 4232.5. So the low of the current month is 4235.5. Okay, so it's just like 3 points away. Okay, so for ES and Nasdaq, what I'm anticipating is that we get some form of SMT right around this area here. Okay, but as you can see, worst case scenario, we are going to attack the opening price of that monthly bullish order block, which comes in right around very near to true open of the year 2023. True open starts here. It's just a few points below that bullish order block. Okay, and because we have a confluence like this, and the current trend is that yes, it's way more bearish than Nasdaq on the current impulse. Okay, I am anticipating to see if ES is willing to come down to this level here, right, before any reversals for higher time frame trend continuations. All right, so that is what I'm waiting to see. And because we have quite I mean quite a lot of events brewing in certain parts of the world, we just have to wait and see. Okay, right, so this is what I'm anticipating for the indices futures. Okay, higher prices on the higher time frame, right? And is there anything else that I would like to cover right here? Right, so let's go through the XY. Right, so higher time frames, I'm still looking for this 121, right? But because right here we have formed a breaker, so it's very reasonable for the XY to retrace before continuing higher. So I think during that retracement, it's gonna allow the indices to run higher. Okay, that is what I'm anticipating, and after which it might start to consolidate around this area before the next run higher. Okay, so that retracement and consolidation might okay allow the indices to run higher. It's either it consolidates and retraces here right at these levels here, or once it takes out this swing high. I believe we're gonna see some form of retracements very soon, right? It's either here or after it takes out this swing high here. Okay, that is my anticipation because we have a breaker here, and usually price would price would give a retracement back into the breaker for a second entry before the final huge directional move takes place. Okay, so in that scenario, I can see that indices might be running higher. Okay, so that's the justification of why I am anticipating higher prices on the higher time frames. Okay, so I think we are done here for indices and DXY, right? And right now I'm just going to run through HSI. Okay, HSI. I think first let us take a look at YM to see if it lines up nicely. Okay. All right. Yep, so far it's doing okay. I mean, like, it's not invalidating anything on the higher time frame, so the current analysis is good to go, in my opinion. Okay. Now, because usually, okay, why am I updating this at this point in time? Because of we have for the past few days we have an event taking place, and usually that kind of event drives the market lower initially. Okay, as you can see, if you trace back to February of 2022, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. In the short term, it drives the price lower, okay? But of course, ultimately, 2022 was a bearish year, right? So I'm leaving it open to for the I'm leaving open for the price action to play out and see, okay? And of course, I do have my invalidations as well. So until those are met, until the conditions of invalidations have been met, I am going to stick to my current bias, okay? And we can end the year within this impulse here, which means it doesn't do anything, just consolidates and then maybe retraces a bit into this area before heading into 2024. Okay, which means we're going to have a inside candle based on the yearly chart. Okay, so because as you can see right here, the previous year closed inside of this BC here, right? So the following candle, you want to see a strong displacement away from the BC, which is what we are having right now. And you want to see it close away from this BC for continuation higher. So the yearly close would very well give us the direction for 2024. Okay, so if we close the year like this, I think we're good we're good to go for higher prices. But in any event that we close back within the BC here, it won't be looking too good for 2024. Okay, makes sense? And do understand as well, we are in premium relative to the current dealing range, right? For both NASDAQ and ES, right? So we just have to see, but I am considering higher prices for now, right? Okay, so let's head over to HSI, and maybe I'll just cover SSE as well. Okay, so for HSI, because if you're in Day's group, Manic gave a interesting view for China, right? So based on the chart, I am trying to see what he sees. Okay, basically what Day sees happening, right? So I'm trying to justify that, and I think I found something, but it doesn't mean I'm right. Okay. So right here, what we have is the entire range. The entire duration for HSI. Okay, and right off the bat, what do we see? We see swing lows here, right? It's making higher lows, higher lows. Okay, it took out this buy stops, and then it's retracing quite a lot. So overall, my eyes are on this swing lows here. Just as how the bond have performed, right? So let's take a look at the bond markets. The bond prices. Okay, as you can see, it's making high lows, and then right now we are getting very strong reversals. So HSI can very well do something like this. Okay, so this would justify what Medic is anticipating. All right, so I'll keep a lookout for this. But right now, as you can see, price is bearish. Okay, why is that so? Because we had traded above and closed above this consecutive down close candles. So by rights, these down close candles are supposed to be your bullish order block. And as you can see right here, price is starting to close below the mean threshold of this consecutive down close candles. Okay, and at the same time, it has traded and closed below the BPR right here. All right, so this is going to be acting as a resistance for lower prices. Okay, so the nearest strong liquidity, in my opinion, would be this low here. And then right below that, we have a volume imbalance right here. Does it want to draw into this lows here? I have no idea. Okay, it could overextend due to some events happening as well. Okay, so of course I have been bearish for quite a while in HSI. You can just look through my weekly forecast. You can see that I have been bearish for quite a while. So because it's moving very lethargically, how would I put it? It's not something that I would like to see if I'm bearish. Okay. Usually if you're on site, you get this low resistance liquidity runs. Right? So let's see how this plays out. Okay. Right. Moving on into the Shanghai Composite. Where is it? I think this is the one. I'm not too sure, but it's very similar to HSI. It's building higher lows. Okay, and then we have, I think, relative equal lows down here. I like this lows. My eyes jump into that. But the problem with this is that we have the highs here. And I think if you... Okay, let's take a look. If SMT is present, this is 1st of June 2015. All right, and we're gonna review. I mean, we're gonna go back into HSI and see if we have a higher high right here. But ultimately, when you look at this lows, it looks very similar to the bond markets. Okay, so let's see if it really wants to draw lower. I'm not too sure about China markets, but so far it has been respecting the ICT PDRAs. Okay, on HSI. So the date here is 1st of June 2015. 1st of June 2015, right? Say we have low highs, but then we have high highs here. So, sort of a SMT if you really want to force it. But this is what I'm watching. Okay, the lows here. And for Shanghai Composite as well. Right, so this is my analysis for the higher time frames. Right, I think I'm gonna close it here. It's just a small update, right? And if you find it anything insightful, or if you find it helpful, if you find value in any of this, do leave a like. And if you have any questions, do just leave it in the comment section down below. Maybe I can answer it in the next live stream session. On the next video itself. Okay, and good luck trading this week. I anticipate this week to be quite a tough week, but let's see how the price action plays out. Right, and I'll sign out now.